starting, yes.
Okay. We've talked about tenders and kindling and everything else. Now I'm going to give you a demonstration of tinder sources you can find. I just have a load of bark here for the most part. I do have these. This is dryer lint, from your dryer that's been shoved in a used toilet paper roll. Just a roll after the toilet paper's all gone. And this takes a spark really well, and it kind of contains it. So this is basically tinder and a log. Okay. We've talked about fat wood, and how you can feather it, shave it. We'll get into that. How to split it, where to, I've told you where to find it. And this is the different barks, which is what you're basically going to encounter. Yeah, some, barks that's not processed, not easily, processed, but we will process it down. Some of it we'll use as kindling. You have barks that are easier, such as this one to be processed. Okay. And this one right here. So to process a bark, we'll start with the easiest one first. And this is all wet, so you'll see. Basically, bark is designed to protect the tree. It's fibrous. And off this one, which is red cedar, you can actually take the inner bark and make cordage out of it. You see how it's coming off into strands? Okay, once we do that, you just keep processing it down until it's finer and finer and finer and finer. Now what you're doing is you're making it easier for a flame or a spark to ignite what you're using. Now we'll just take this right here, and I'll show you a quick demonstration of making cordage with it. Now, we will do a cordage video. So, like I said, this is just showing you that you can make cordage with it and how you would do that. But we will do an in-depth video one day on how to make cordage. Okay? So, what you do is you keep processing this down, making it finer and finer. You can, we'll just use this one for a table. Take your knife, if you have 90-degree spine on your knife, take and pull it and process it down that way. It'll also kind of loosen up the fibers from each other. You can even take, if you have a pommel that's 90 degrees, and do it like this. Now, since this is wet, it's not going to really process however I want. So that just takes ingenuity and just patience. Okay? There's no point in sitting here and trying to feather this like this. I suppose you can, but there's really no point in it when you can use the back of your knife and basically do the same thing. Okay? So we go through and we work all this up. Now on this bark, this is punky wood. It's so dry, it just breaks off. You can take your pommel and crush it down. Okay? Basically what we have here is the makings of a bird's nest. But since this is all wet wood, it really wouldn't make a best bird's nest. Okay? So you said you process all this down. And it's going to get messy. You're going to have your hands, all stuff. You want the powder. You don't want any big chunks like this, and if you are making a bird's nest. So we'll take those out. This stuff, you just break down. You can even put it in your hands and wring it as you can see, the cordage you make from it is extremely strong. So, and this is red cedar. Red oak is kind of the same thing. A red cedar is more fibrous as far as the inner bark goes. And you can even just kind of lock your hand in a spot and pull through like that. You see how it's doing that? Okay. These pieces of bark, you really couldn't, you know, what you could do is take the back of your knife and just scrape. But see, some bark is not meant for that. You see what I'm saying? You'd have to sit and do this right here. You know, but it will be used as a tinder source or as a kindling. Now this right here, the best way to define kindling is if it doesn't light within 5 seconds of holding a flame to it, then it's too big to be considered tinder. And that's if it's dry. Now you can keep processing this right here until it's so fine that you can light it in 5 seconds, even though it is wet. Okay. Again, take the back of your knife, scrape it. See, that's so punky it's breaking, but scrape it. And you see I'm getting all these little fine things right here from it. Now don't jab the knife into your hand and get stabbed and all this other stuff. Have some common sense. You can even rub them together to get that fine, fine, fine dust. Okay? This right here, you can continue to process. What I would do is take some of this and put it aside and let it dry. The majority of this I would let it dry. Now this right here, what I'm showing you, this here's a piece of pine that is natural fat wood. You see how it goes from nothing to the resin coated right here? Right through here, and you can even tell, can you feather it? You know, it's not the greatest piece of fat wood, because you can see the resin starting to go out of it, and it's a harder wood, so it would be more of a cedar or something like that. But you can use this resin to your advantage. Okay, to shave off some of it. I'm not even trying to feather it. Just get some of that off of it. Now your fat wood. If you're going to feather fat wood, it's one of the easiest things to feather. I say that and it feathers like crap. But, you know, you've got to work with it, and you can feather it. I've demonstrated feathering it. But here's a trick that no one teaches you. Everybody's all about, you know, basically feather sticks for fire making and stuff like that, and they do have their place. One thing you don't consider, 90-degree spine on your knife again, and get this fine stuff. Now this is a lot, you can do this with any wood. You can even use the pommel of your knife if you really want to. But this right here, I've used that much of the fat wood, and I have enough right here for this bundle to light it on fire. Okay. Now since this right here is wet and marginal material at best, and this isn't the best bird's nest I've ever made, but it's just something quick and something that will demonstrate the basics of what I'm talking about so we can get into it in a future date. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more of this fat wood. Now, you can pull back on you like this if you want. I just lock it in and just do this. Like I said, I'm not trying to feather it right now. I'm using the back of my knife to basically grind these little bitty shavings off right here. And the gummier the better. Okay. And I'm going to take this and put it right here, right in the middle. Okay. Take some of these. I might even take some just plain old, this here's black walnut bark. Take and shave that down. Kind of just put around the edges. Looking for as I said, and basically the more I process this, the better off it's going to be. Grab a lighter. Now, I can be a cocky bastard and light that and let it burn for 2 seconds and then cut the video off. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to clear off another spot here. And I'm going to do this as if I'm really trying to start a fire. And I really do have marginal material. You've seen how wet it is. So I'm going to, instead of feathering right now on my fat wood, I'm going to shave it off like this. Basically trying to save as much as I can because it's a resource. Okay. And the thing is, fat wood is it's so resiny and so sensitive to spark. Right there, if you look at the back of the knife, it is completely and utterly covered in resin right now. And I'll just pull that off. Now, if you don't have 90-degree angle for your knife, you can use your blade of your knife. As you can see, but that's just dulling that edge more and more. You wouldn't think it is, but it is. Okay, that should be enough. So I'm going to get all this right here up. Which I'm going to have to clean this up anyway because my wife's going to kill me if I don't. Okay, take your spark, your lighter, whatever. Get it going, and then now you have these bigger pieces that can be drying on the outside of your bundle. You see? You can even put your, pieces around it. And see, as this is burning, it's going to be drying out the other ones. Once I have fire, I'm going to do everything I can to maintain it. Obviously not inside my house. So I'm going to move this to the fireplace. Take these pieces of fat wood out because they are a resource. Put the bark in. I'm not trying to burn. I'm just getting it up out of the floor right now. And then that's how you do it. So when you process your tinder, process it down as fine as you can. Save your resources. In other words, I can set and hold like on this piece of fat wood. If that one piece of fat wood will light a fire, why would I burn the whole stick. And again, as I showed you, you can't hardly put it out. And you can hear and even see that resin burning right here. And look how long it's burning. Okay, watch this. Okay. Tinder's everywhere if you think about it. So, if you have any questions, comments, let me know. I'll answer them as soon as I see them. And subscribe to my podcast, Mystical Mountains, on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Castbox. Check out Flipbox. I'll talk to you after a while. Thank you.